You ever asked yourself questions like, what am I doing? Why did I do this to myself? Well, guess what, friends? You're not alone, because I've been asking myself those same exact questions for the last 5 hours of my life. Probably because I was trying to get this Vega FE rig going. This wasn't really that fun, but I'm going to go ahead and condense what I've learned down to this video and show you how to make one of these guys run, how to make it stable. Let's get to it. Welcome back, everybody. So, I've been working on my friend's rig for him. This 4-card Vega FE rig. If you've ever messed with a Vega FE card, you know that you can get it stable, but it's such a pain in the butt. I figured, since we were working on the rig and the new drivers came out, it's a good time to put the new drivers on it. Let's try the new version of Cast XMR, see how it does. The rig was formerly on XMR stack with the blockchain drivers. So I've spent about 5 hours today on this, and I wanted to go ahead and condense what I've learned from my experience into this video, and hopefully you guys don't have to suffer the same pain that I just went through. Alright, so let me go ahead and put a disclaimer on this. Before we get into it, I had to write custom power play tables for these cards. I was unable to get MSI Afterburner to work, and the Vega FEs do not have a Wattman. Furthermore, I wasn't able to use your normal utilities such as Overdriven End Tool. Now, it could have been because of the drivers, obviously, that I was using. I wasn't using the blockchain drivers anymore. And I wanted to use the newer drivers because, quite frankly, the old blockchain drivers stunk. So, when I custom made the power play tables, I'm gonna go ahead and show you the link and let you guys do this for yourself. I don't want the responsibility or anything put on my head about a bad power play table or a setting or something that messed up one of your cards. So I'm going to give you a link in the description below to the editor, and I'll go through that in just a moment. But I'm not going to get into how to go through and how to edit the card. All right? Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is look at the links to download the programs that we want to download. So for this we use Cast XMR, and I tried out the 1.1.0 version, which is the newest version. I ended up going back to 1.0.0 just because of usability and ease of use. 1.1.0, the newest version, has some new features, intensity, some things that allow you to make a little extra changes to the card. But what I found as I was playing with those settings is it would add another step for the gentleman that owns the rig. One more additional step that he would have to do every time the rig rebooted. So I thought, let's make this as simple as possible. And I set the cards up exactly how I want them. There's nothing that he has to do when he boots the rig up other than start the miner. Alright, so again, Cast XMR 1.0.0 or 1.1.0. Again, that's a beta, so it's new, but I can verify that it does work, but you will have to play with intensity settings and some other stuff. I just happened to have an older version, so I used it. Now, the AMD drivers. Scroll down. This is what we're going to use, the RX Vega series, okay? Not the Vega Frontier. I tried that driver out. I'm not even going to show you which one it is because I've tried it out. It did not work properly. I had stability issues with it. I had low hash rates, so I ended up using DDU and uninstalling all of those drivers and actually installing the Vega 56 and 64 drivers. And this Adrenaline Edition 18.5.2 is what I used. This is release date 6/6 of 2018. Now, when you actually open up or download the driver, you'll see a different date on it. Again, going back to AMD's spectacular drivers and support, I know they have a good community. They have decent support in other platforms other than Windows, but let's be honest, in the mining community, we don't get much love. So we have to use what they give us. In this case, it's going to be this guy right here. Now, the power play table, the custom power play table, here's the link to a Google Doc. So basically what you do is, we'll go through the power play tables in a minute, but basically what you do is you're going to download this, open it up in a machine that has Excel on it, and you can adjust these numbers. The only thing that I'm going to tell you that I did was change the memory clock. Did not change the GPU clock. I set this for 1025. I made a small voltage adjustment up to make the card a little more stable. I've changed the minimum fan setting. I've changed the target temp and the max temp, but that's all I've done. Then I copied all of this information and put it into a text file. Let's take a look at it. All right, so in some of my other videos, you can see the process of the numbers here, but I'm going to go ahead and go through this really briefly. Now, all these numbers that you see correspond to the settings of the card. So what we need to do is load the drivers, and once the fresh drivers are in place, there's a couple settings that we need to change. Let's go ahead and take a look at them. We're going to type in reg edit. All right, so after you've loaded the drivers, you're going to want to make these changes to the registry and add the power play tables before you reboot. I repeat, make the changes to the registry, make the edits, and add the power play tables before you reboot. After you load the drivers, it's going to ask you if you want to reboot now. Tell it no. All right, so every computer is going to be different. Every miner is going to be different. As you can see, after my drivers loaded, 0000 is an AMD card. You can go down through here and look. Radeon Vega Frontier Edition. Okay, there we go. Radeon Vega Frontier Edition. So that is a Radeon card. Now, you would assume automatically that the next one would be a Radeon Vega FE Edition also. It is not. It is actually the onboard display driver for the onboard graphics on this motherboard. Number 2, number 3, and number 4 in this registry is are the actual registry that you need to go into, not 0001 in this case. Your computer, your setup may be completely different. Generally, 0000, more often than not, is generally the onboard display adapter. In this instance, it's not. Just something to look out for. Alright, so only a couple things that we need to do here. We're going to scroll down, and I'm going to show you how to get to this in just a moment. We're going to scroll down to Enable Crossfire and Enable ULPS. When you first load the driver, you're going to see that you have a 1 here. Remember, 1 is on, 0 is off. Alright, so after we're done with that one, we go down to Enable ULPS. As you see, it's already 0 because I've already changed it. But you're going to put in 1. I'm sorry, 1 is going to be there by default. You're going to put in 0. It's supposed to look just like this. Press OK. And then we come down and we can see that the soft power play table is already in here. Alright, so after you have created your soft power play table, what you're going to want to do is copy that into a text file. Let me go ahead and give you an example. Oh, before I forget, H key, local machine, system, current control set, control class, and then this number is the area in the registry that you need to go to. So if you need directions, open that up. There we go. As you can see, H key local machine right here. System right here. Current control set, control, class, and then you find your section right here. And then as you can see here, this one is 0004. You're going to number this to correspond with the sections that we identified earlier. So I need to, in my instance, I need to make one for 0000 and then 0002, 3, and 4, not 0001. Again, you're going to have to get into the registry and look and see which areas the AMD drivers sit in. All right? All right, so let's go ahead and let's go ahead and go through the process of making a registry file. So we're going to copy our information, and let's pretend that this just came from our editor and we got our power play table set up. So I'm going to copy it and then open up Notepad, and I want to paste that information in, and it should look like this. Okay? So after you get done, you're going to want to save it as, put it on all files, very, very important, all files, and I'm just going to say test. All right, you name it whatever you want, just so you can remember it, and you might want to do test underscore 0 for card slot 0, or card slot 1, or 2, or 3, so on and so forth. Okay, then I'm going to put dot, very important, reg. Okay, so all files and .reg at the end of it, and I can press save. And as you can see, now I have a registry file, not a text file, because I saved it that way. remember, we have to edit it to the registry space that we need. So 000. Now, if I close this out, don't want to save that, I'm going to right click, not left click, press edit. As you can see, it opens up in Notepad, but when you actually left click it, it's going to go into the registry. Basically, where you tell it. Remember the last 4 here? That's the space that we're going to put it in. So basically, what you do is you left click it. I'm going to go ahead and do one of them that I've already made up. It's going to ask you if you want to continue. Are you sure you want to put the information into the registry? You click yes, and then it's going to bring up another prompt that says it did so, and you press OK. All right? Very, very simple. So now you've loaded the drivers, the 18.5.2. You've downloaded the cast XMR. I'll go ahead and share with you what my configuration file looks like for 1.0.0. Not the configuration, but the BAT or batch file. When you first download cast XMR, you extract all the files. You put it on your desktop or wherever you want to put it. You're going to have 2 files in it. If it's version 1.1.0, then that is going to have 3 files. I'm not going to go into that. My actual, the last video I did last night, I actually went through some of that. So if you've got any questions, you can go back and watch that video. But there's only 2 files here, or basically a batch file and the executable itself. We're going to look at the batch file. Very simple. If you're doing regular kryptonite algo, this would be --algo equals 0. For kryptonite V7 coins, we do --algo 0. Algo equals 1. Okay, algo equals 1 for kryptonite V7. Fast job switch, that means that we're not going to waste hash power on a job that has already been completed or is outdated. Okay, that's a neat little feature here. You've got your -S and then the pool. In this case, I'm going to be mining electronium, and it's going to be on hash vault. All right, I wanted to make that a little bit bigger so everybody could see it. All right, so your ETN address in this instance, again, could be Stellite, Graft, or anything else that you want to mine on the kryptonite algorithm. Your password, -P, YouTube, and then your cards, -G, 0, 1, 2, 3. That's for a 4-card rig. That's what we've got. That's it, guys. Very simple configuration. Then you're going to want to come up here and save it. And then after you save it, you're ready to start mining. So let's give it a shot. See what it does. You may have noticed, I don't know if it's done it during the video or not, but this card here, the second card in the rig, has had some issues. You're going to notice when we start to mine with it, I've changed the riser on it. Spent a little bit of time on this one card today, but I changed the riser on it. Thought maybe the riser was bad. It would flicker. It's been flickering, which was kind of odd. I haven't seen too many cards do that, and I've messed with a lot of Vega cards, but it would flicker when it was just sitting there, and so I changed I wiped the BIOS out, put a BIOS on it. I changed the dip switch position to change back to the factory BIOS, what I thought was the factory BIOS. I've removed the drivers. I've reinstalled the drivers. I've done just about everything I can think of, but this little guy just doesn't seem to hash right. So you're going to see that when I start it up here in a minute, but let's go ahead and start. All right, so you've got your run file here. Just double left click, and it's off to the races. As you can see, we're all lit up. Might take it just a minute. You're going to start hearing some fan noise here in a second. Something else to look for there. So I had clicked in the field, and you see this in XMR Stack and Cast XMR. If you're in the field and you've clicked in it somewhere, sometimes the screen hangs. So you literally have to go into here, click on it, and press the space bar, and it takes off again. If you let it sit like that too long, unfortunately, usually the miner will lock up or something bad will happen. All right. As you can see, GPU 0 is around 1500 hash. Goes down to 1200 and then back up to 1900 and generally sits around the 17 to 1500 mark. So I'm pretty sure something's wrong with this card, but you can see clearly that we've got a pretty decent hash rate, 1990, 1992, 1994, 93. The other cards seem to be working well. There's a 2000 hash. And these Vega FEs, you can push them a little harder. My particular settings, the gentleman that I'm fixing this rig for, is more interested in starting this up and forgetting about it. Okay, so maximum stability is what I'm after. For me, it's just not worth chasing that extra 50 or 100 or 150 hash if it causes stability issues, and especially for someone who is not inclined to look after the equipment obsessively like myself. So as you can see, it runs. I let this thing run for 2.5 hours earlier. I'm going to let it run overnight and see how it does. If I have any stability issues, I'll put that in the description, or I'll put a comment below. But if you have any questions, guys, comment. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. Like the video, please. Give us a hand. But thanks for watching, and I hope this helped. Any questions, let me know.